Welcome back to Drive 615. My name is Byron, and this is the 2023 Range Rover SE standard wheelbase. I've had this as a press loan from Land Rover for the past week, where I've been thoroughly testing this vehicle inside and out. As always, we'll take a look at the exterior, the interior, then we'll go out and take it for a drive. During the week I've had this, it's been rainy, salty, snowy, overcast, but finally the sun has come out just for a brief moment. This is actually the first time I've been able to see this Belgravia Green exterior paint in the sunlight, and man, can I tell you, it looks beautiful. It kind of color changes depending on the weather and the lighting scenarios. When it was dark outside, overcast, rainy, it just kind of had this really elegant, sleek look to it. And just for that brief moment we got to see it in the sunlight, it really pops and just gives it a nice bit of flavor. Total MSRP as tested, $128,475. Let's go ahead and take a closer look up front. We've got our Pixel LED headlamps that come on just so elegantly. Signature DRLs tucked down through here. This does have the shadow exterior package, so it kind of gray and black out all the grille down through here and some other aspects that we'll look at in a second. But I think that really just accentuates and makes this vehicle look that much more slick. The design language and body lines at the front of this vehicle are just very smooth, and everything just seems so elegant and just kind of smooth and soft and calm. I really do like that about that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the profile. There's not a whole lot to talk about up here. Sensors, camera. Let's take a look at the side. This Rover still feels very long, very spacious on the inside, but when you're actually out driving it, it doesn't feel that big on the road. It actually feels quite small thanks to some of the all-wheel steering and the all-wheel driving capabilities. We are sitting atop the 21-inch alloy wheels all the way around, and we do have the black contrast roof. I've always loved the black roof on Range Rovers. I feel like it just kind of settles the vehicle down, makes it sit real sleek, and kind of accentuates those body lines. This blacked out through here, all this blacked out, and this portion down here kind of sandwiches the vehicle and allows the paint in the center just to really pop and really shine. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear. One thing I want to mention is that when the vehicle is locked, the door handles retract and sit flush, and I think that just further accentuates and helps complement these real smooth and long body lines in the vehicle. Another unique thing is that you've got your A pillar up front, the B pillar through here. I guess you could kind of say this is a C pillar, but it's unique. This back portion through here, it goes straight from glass to glass. I know a lot of vehicles, this portion would kind of come up, but it just kind of looks real smooth and long and lean when all you see is glass right here, and it's very, very tinted. If I were to look in, it's very tough to see inside. This is a plug-in hybrid EV, so you can plug in on this side for your electric and plug in on the other side for the pump. I do love these rear LEDs. They're not as long and lean typically as you see in a lot of SUVs, but I think one reason for that is they couldn't really continue this LED up any higher, because again, I mentioned this is glass on something like an Escalade, for example, where the bottom of it goes all the way to the top. That's because that body line continues. Let's go ahead and open up the rear hatch here. This is the tailgate event suite. Look at that kind of clamshell out. I'm actually gonna sit here and talk with you guys. I don't spend a lot of time going over the back of vehicles like this, but this one's just so interesting. I absolutely love that I can sit here and I have this overhang. It came in perfect handy actually when it was raining earlier. I was trying to film. I was setting up some camera stuff back here. This was keeping me dry. But imagine you're out at an event, you can have all your stuff stored back here. You can kind of configure this and store things how you like. You can fold down the seats however you need. You can move this back and forth in whatever configuration you like. I'm gonna go ahead and close this. It gives me anxiety, but let's see what you guys think. It gives me anxiety because I feel like this has to get closed before that does. Of course, it all works out. No exhaust to listen to. The cutout is actually way down here. It's just a little single pipe that comes out. So it's not something we're gonna rev up because it's very quiet. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interior though before we go for a drive. All right, let's go ahead and take a closer look into the interior of this vehicle. And from the first pull of the door handle, just by the pure weight of it, and just looking at it from the profile, how thick it is, you can just tell how well built this Range Rover is and how much attention to detail goes into building it. As we hop in, we'll go ahead and push to start. You'll notice the start button is right there in the center. I know a lot of vehicles have it up here, but we'll put our foot on the brake, push to start, and immediately the shade on the panoramic roof will go back into position. I had it open when I was driving, but when you stop the car, it will close for you, which is really nice. We'll start off and dive in a little deeper. There's a lot to talk about here, but I'll do my best to go over just what I like, what I don't like from the practicality standpoint, and let's jump right in. Let's start off with the seats here. These are the premium non-leather upgraded seats with the Ultra fabrics and Cavadra two-tone interior. And just look at how plush they are. Look how thick this headrest is here. Now, I will say, I don't love the feel of it. It almost feels a bit chalky. Now, it is comfortable, don't get me wrong there, but when you kind of run your hand across it, it's almost got like a kind of a suede chalk type feel to it, which definitely keeps you in place when you're sitting on it, but from the comfort perspective, maybe not my favorite, but some people may love it, so just, you know, check it out whenever you're at the dealership looking to pick out yours. You do have the rear executive pack on this vehicle, which we'll touch on here in just a moment. I do love how crisp and clean this digital instrument cluster is. It's very, very responsive, great graphics. Steering wheel feels fine. This is the premium non-leather upgrade, similar to that of the seats, but it's got a better feel than the seats. Like I was mentioning earlier, it doesn't feel like it's kind of chalky at all. It does have a really nice smooth feel to it. Fairly simple through here. You get a nice blend of actual hard buttons that you can actually turn or scroll, and then some of the more haptic buttons through here that you can press in as well. Steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. Now I didn't use these very much, but we can touch on that in a little bit. Let's use this scroll wheel down here in the center console to show you the different modes. We start off with dynamic. We've got eco, comfort, grass, gravel, snow, mud, ruts, sand, rock crawl, and wade. And then if you were to push in to this, that will put you in the auto terrain response, and that will kind of let you let the vehicle decide what's best for it based upon what setting you're in. It's kind of cool how it sits flush. You can push it back up if you want to change between your different settings. Let's take a quick look at this. This is the 13.1-inch PHEV Pro infotainment system. It looks really nice. It does not sit flush into the front dash, but rather sticks out a little bit, but not much. You can get a finger behind there. You can get a little bit underneath this side. It is touchscreen, but you got to apply a little bit of pressure. So if I wanted to go to media, for example, and just tapped it lightly, it would highlight, but it wouldn't actually go there until you actually give it a little bit of pressure. It is haptic feedback. It just took a little getting used to, kind of changing between having to actually give it more pressure. Now down here, I kind of had the most trouble with it. I guess not trouble rather, but you know, kind of hurt my finger a little bit because you're kind of pushing in hard on this, and if you wanna make any changes, you really have to push hard. Now you can pull out to do different settings on the AC, and then push in to do different settings for your seat. So it's kind of a push-pull on this knob through here. This is the wireless charging spot for the phone, and I will mention, it's great that you don't have your phone, you know, out while you're driving. Of course, don't want to be texting and driving or being distracted, but it does kind of get hard to get the phone back out from here. So it's in there now, and you kind of have to slide your hands in, and it's not much room to get it out. So ideally, you're not going to be putting it in and out a lot, but if this is the spot where you choose to charge it, and if you have bigger hands, it might kind of get stuck down in there, but just something worth noting. You got the USB-C charger right there, and enough room for a wallet or something like that down through here. We'll close that up. This vehicle does have the hot climate pack, which gives you this front refrigerator through there, so you can keep whatever you need cold. I'm actually gonna go and put this water bottle in here. You can fit a full 16-ounce bottle, which is what I have here. You probably go even higher if you wanted, and it fits it in there perfectly. You could probably fit, I'd say, 4 of them in there pretty easily. It's illuminated as well. Got a couple different settings. So we'll go ahead and close that. So you're like, hey, where's my center console portion? Well, that is up underneath these cup holders. By the way, you can also cover that up, and this Graham black veneer would cover it. That's located throughout the vehicle as well. That's an upgraded option. But we'll slide this back. This is your cup holder here. You slide that back, and that gives you access to another USB-C, a USB, and that's where you can store some of your belongings. Now, the interesting thing is that this goes here and a little bit under. It's almost kind of like a ledge underneath there, and I actually would have lost this if I didn't actually stick my hand up underneath it. There's a battery for my camera, so just, you know, if it's your personal vehicle, fine. If it's a review vehicle, make sure you clear it out. I think it'd be nice maybe if there was a little bit more like lighting in here, but I guess, you know, you could always turn on this light up top here if you need it. So that is this. One more thing to note is over here, and we'll quickly talk about the sound system. We have the 18 speaker premium tri-field Meridian 3D sound system. One of the best sounding sound systems I've ever heard in a vehicle. It sounds absolutely incredible, very immersive. It sounds like you're just in the concert of whatever you're listening to. So highly recommend that as an upgrade if that's something you're looking to do. But let's take a look at this real fast here. So you push this down, that'll open up this portion of the glove compartment. Naturally, you're thinking, hey, I want to raise it. I was able to lower it automatically. Let's raise it automatically. So you push this, and rather this little bit up here opens up, and you got to kind of pull that down, and it kind of wants to come back up on its own, which is nice. But I guess you just kind of hold it down with your hand, pull out whatever you need. In this case, we got the owner's manual in here, which is nice and big and thick. We'll pop that in here, and that'll kind of open up itself, and you got to manually raise this. So it's kind of cool. It sits flush. Would be nice if you could raise and lower both automatically, but again, these are little small gripes. In the grand scheme of things, this is one amazing vehicle. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear. All right, in the rear, we've got the executive class seating in this spec. I'm 6'5", that's where I was sitting up front, and I haven't moved the seat at all. So I got room to sit myself behind myself and still be very comfortable. That just shows how big and long this vehicle is, despite just being the standard wheelbase. Look how much room you still have though to move the seat back. The one I'm sitting in right now is fully maxed out, but you simply just lean this back here as if you were doing it in the front seat, and I can move that back a little bit more as well. So tons of room, tons of comfort back here. Heated and cooled rear seats. You can do a lot back actually here with the lighting. You can also put up this rear sun blind. Again, that is part of the hot climate pack. As well as, I didn't mention up front, the solar attenuating front windshield, which will help keep heat out. Let's go ahead and put this down. Now, on the back of the rear seat, the only storage you get down here is kind of funky. It's almost better. I mean, it'd be great for, I guess, for a magazine, brochure, something like that, but you couldn't really store a whole lot of stuff in it because it kind of puts it up pretty flush. If you were to put like a, you know, water bottle in there, I guess it would work, but it'd be slightly awkward because this is kind of just hard. So I think this is probably best for your magazines, booklets, you know, smaller, flat items. So back here, if you push on the left side, that'll leave this little tray down where you can put whatever you need through there. But if you pull it back up and push on the right side, gives you a little bit deeper tray there, illuminated, 2 USB-Cs back through here. Now let's take a look at this. This is a touch screen for the rear passengers where you can control seats, lighting, blinds, climate, and check this out. You push that button there. This gives you access to your cup holders. So kind of a little hidden feature there. And there you go, access for 2 cup holders in the rear. Excellent leg room. I feel very comfortable. I can basically just kind of sprawl out, relax, cruise. If I need to have some sort of, you know, business meeting with someone, we could easily sit back here, converse, and be comfortable, not only physically in the seats, We could be comfortable with the air quality, and then again, a lot of privacy. So remember earlier I mentioned that it was kind of blacked out. That is part of this rear package. You get these darker tint back here to kind of protect you from the outside. Also, if you don't want that rear section down, you can always fold it back up. Just to get it back down again, you'll simply press this. So you could fit 3 people in the vehicle if you wanted, but if you just wanted to have you and someone else, you could fold this down and kind of partition it that way. Let's go ahead and take it out for a drive. Behind the wheel and on the road in the Range Rover plug-in hybrid, what are we working with underneath the hood? That is a 3-liter turbo 6-cylinder gas engine with a plug-in hybrid electric motor producing 434 horsepower and 457 pound-foot of torque. This thing's a fairly large and heavy vehicle, but with numbers like that, this thing is absolutely no slouch. And I'll show you just that right now. We are in sport mode. I'm gonna go ahead and coming through a corner here. Very great handling. This does have the all-wheel steering, air suspension with adaptive dynamics. It's kind of become a meme at this point. The Tennessee roads are so bad, but just, you know, case in point, going over some of these potholes. Just had a big snow here, and the roads are just rough, but this Range Rover's just eating them up, especially with these 21-inch wheels. Just helps make for that much more smooth of a ride. Now, again, this is a hybrid. This vehicle is nearly silent. If I floor it, I hear a little bit of engine noise, but very minimal. The only noise I hear is my phone sliding around right now because I put it on the top of this gloss black veneer. I definitely wouldn't classify this as a really speedy, sporty vehicle, so to speak. It is very quick, especially getting up off the line, as well as just passing power out on the interstate. It gets up and moves and puts the power down smooth. But if you want something, you know, really fast where you truly be utilizing those paddle shifters and just being in sport mode all the time, then look at something like an SVR, because I feel like that would be more your speed. But this thing is really, really smooth, and it's just so luxurious. And again, you can utilize the paddle shifters. I'm doing it right now, and you know, you can hear it downshifting, but it's certainly not coming from what sounds like a powerful place. I'm gonna floor it here. Oh, I mean, it gets up and moves. We've got the electric power assisted steering, which makes it so easy on the driver. Again, just kind of parking in tight scenarios or just daily driving scenarios. It just makes for such a smooth. You can just whip this thing with one hand, as you can see there. Flooring it. I mean, you know, if I want to take back my original statement of saying this is not a sporty vehicle, you know, the majority of the time I drove it for this past week, it was just casual, daily driving, relaxed, listening to music, massage seat on, just cruising, just with the flow of traffic, just enjoying myself. Granted, if you want to floor it, you know, by all means, you've got that capabilities. Again, it's not going to be a slouch. Now, I will say sometimes it'll get what feels like a little bit confused that if you kind of floor it and then let off, it will kind of get stuck in what gear it should be in, especially if you're not in S mode. But otherwise, it seems to do just fine, especially when you floor it off a line. It just really, really hunkers down. I will do a little 0 to 60 launch for you here. It wouldn't be a Drive 615 video without one. It'll really, really hunker down. That front end will really start to come up whenever I do this launch here in 3, 2, 1. Oh man, I'm using a full power there. And then when I back off, I'm not getting any charge. Now, I don't have the hybrid battery charged right now. I just haven't done it during the time, and I haven't even used but half a tank of gas in the whole week of driving. So it seems to be great on the fuel, especially when you drive normal. When you're flooring it around, gas mileage might not be that great. I'm at 16.1 right now, and that's a mix of highway driving as well as street driving, but I've had a blast driving this vehicle. You know, I feel like a baller. The second I stepped into this car, I just feel like an elevated presence. It just feels so cool. There's just always something about a full size, full body, big body range that just makes you feel cool. And I will mention, I always like to talk about attention. I did not get any attention when driving this car. Maybe a few little looks here and there, because you know, I'm fairly young, 30 years old. What's a 30-year-old driving this, you know, Range Rover around? But you know, I didn't have anyone taking pictures of me, anyone complimenting me. And again, I don't say that from a point of egotism, but sometimes, you know, I'm out in these cars, like when I was in the Escalade V, people were noticing that because they could just hear it, see it, it was fast. This is very, I don't want to say understated, but it's just very nice and luxurious. And if you kind of want to, you know, be quiet money and kind of fly under the radar, then this would be an excellent option. If you want to be a bit more flashy, then maybe get, you know, a bright blue SVR and, you know, get on it hard and do those downshifts and paddle shifts. But if you just want a perfect, comfortable daily driver, take the family out, take your clients out, and just be peaceful and blissful, then this is the absolutely perfect vehicle for you. It's been a blast driving it, and it's been kind of nice actually to kind of fly under the radar and not have people stop and ask you questions, and you just can kind of relax and just be in your own little atmosphere. Again, I'm flooring it here, and just, you know, it doesn't feel like, again, I think it's just a common thing with bigger SUVs. When you floor it, you can kind of get up in higher speeds and not even realize you're going that fast. So enough about the speed. Very, very comfortable on the interior. I'm a 6'5", as I mentioned. I've got a great amount of headroom. I feel very comfortable. This side sail is perfect for me at my height. Kind of fits flush to my body, and I can also adjust this armrest over here to the perfect height for myself as well. Visibility out the front is great. Visibility out the side is pretty good. The B-pillar blocks me a little bit. I just have my seat so far back, but you do get a little bit of room back there. Now this does have the hot climate pack, as you saw. So this little bit right here for where that rear shade comes up blocks your view about a couple inches. But you know, not to worry, plenty of safety features, plenty of cameras in this car. That might be the least of your worries. If you're worried about seeing behind you, it's dark out, you can flip this up. That'll give you a full view out the rear, coming off the rear view mirror. Love the panoramic roof. I've been driving with that all the way open. Now I haven't actually opened up the sunroof. It's a bit too cold here in Nashville, but gives you some nice, natural, spacious light and just really amplifies the cabin of this vehicle. Not much road noise, very quiet, very comfortable drive. Another thing with Range Rovers, again, I think if you're spending, you know, 100K plus on it, you're maybe not as worried about what model people think you have. But to be honest, it does get a little bit confusing. Even myself, as an automotive reviewer, I can't keep up with it all. We are in the SE, which stands for standard equipment. Then you got the HSE, which is the next tier above that, the higher level. Then we're in the P440E model. We are in the PHEV, SWB, all these different letters, all these different models. People might not realize, again, exactly what you're in. Yes, it's a high price tag, but it's a high price tag due to the quality of the build and, you know, the luxuries and amenities you get along with it, with the Land Rover, Range Rover brand name. So again, people aren't going to look at that and be like, oh, yep, that's the PHEV 440E SE SWB. They're just going to say, hey, that's a nice looking Range Rover. And that's it. That's pretty much where that conversation is going to end. But it, you know, you can know that if you want to be fully EV, you know, that's to come. If you want to try and bridge that gap with the hybrid, then you can get, you know, a pretty good range just around town, charge it up at home overnight, and then basically drive around town almost fully electric if you don't want to put any gas in it. but you know, it's not as big of a range as you can get with just the gas side of it. So it's unique having pumps on both sides. You got to remember that the gas pump's over here and the EV pump's over there on the left. Nothing but good things to say about driving this vehicle. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below. I'll do my best to answer you, and let me know, what are your thoughts on this 2023 Range Rover? Is this something that you would like? Do you like the hybrid model? Are you gonna go for the full EV mode when that comes out? Let me know. Excited to hear your thoughts, and we'll see you in the next video.